Yo guys, what's up? It's Inflexxius. Today we're playing Jackson to Riven top, starting D-Shield to help sustain up against the Riven trades, and we have a boot start as well actually because of some invade shenanigans that happened. We lost our flash in it, so we're down flash, Riven having flash advantage on us, but we do have boots, so level 1 is all about trying to get a good E trade on Riven while not letting her poke you down too much with her Qs. There we managed to get one. I could have actually extended the trade there, but I gave too much respect to the fact that she had Q1, her Q2 and her Q3 still. Here she just disrespects the fact that we're level 2, so she just gets bullied in another trade. Now, because of those two E trades, we actually need to hard shove the wave here, otherwise it's going to freeze in front of her tower. And if it does, we're going to... It's a terrible spot for the lane to be in versus Riven. She can just trade on you and poke you down, and you can't really punish her because she's too close to her tower. So, because we get that early crash, we can go look for something like a roam mid lane. We get Malzahar's flash, and get some damage on him, so that's really good for Vlad, obviously. Now we get back to lane. Now, at level 3, the matchup becomes a whole lot of spacing to try to land your W on her, while not letting her land her W on you. Because usually what happens is you'll try to poke her with W, and then she's going to use her W to cancel your auto attack. But if you can space her W when she does that, then that's really good, and then you can actually punish her really hard in that trade by just jumping on her after she Ws. Because you can't jump on Riven when her W is up. But if her W is on cooldown, you see, here her W is on cooldown, so you jump on her with the Counter-Strike running, and then, you know, you release it, you jump on her and release the Counter-Strike as you're landing, so that she can't use her EQ to disengage. If her E's on cooldown, if she uses it early, then you don't have to time your stun perfectly. See, here again, we can go for a trade. I don't want to extend this trade here. Usually I'd like to extend this trade here because there's a few seconds before her Q comes back, but I don't know where Udyr is, so I'm respecting him. Because you have to be very careful about if your Counter-Strike is on cooldown and if Riven has her Qs up, because she can one-shot you. So, here, I jump on Riven, but Udyr's there. I messed up there. My Q was buffered to go before I realized Udyr was there, so I couldn't cancel my order to leap on her fast enough before my character had already leapt. So whoopsie daisy. So now the wave is pushing back to her. Right now I'm just focused on getting the wave in, because one, I don't want it to freeze towards her, right? Because again, horrible lane state. But also, I don't like my items. I haven't really been liking my purchases that much. So I really want that sheen, right? And we're very close to sheen gold. So there we go. We crashed the wave. Enough gold for sheen. Perfect. And run back top lane. Sheen is super good for Jackson. Also, it's just really good in these matchups where you're trying to poke people down, tag people with W, right? Because obviously the sheen adds so much damage onto it. See, I'm standing on my minions that are dropping low so that I can threaten to W her every time she walks up for a creep. See, look at that damage. Now, we got to play the game for 2 seconds and that was fun, but now Udyr has decided that he lives up here, so no more gameplay for us. But notice how I'm not completely backing off. I'm not making it obvious that I have vision of Udyr. What I'm trying to do is I'm staying just out of Riven's threat range to make Udyr feel like maybe there is a gank here, you know? I want him to feel like there's possibly a gank here, but meanwhile I'm just wasting his time. Just keep him interested. So Udyr pops Ghost here, but I managed to ward hop away, and yeah, he just can't reach me. Now they've expended everything. They can't really dive me anymore, right? So I can just come back here, farm my wave. Now, this is a bit of an awkward spot, because I thought I'd be able to shove the wave in here and get back and crash it into her tower before the next wave got there. But I miscalculated and my wave clear wasn't good enough. So now it's frozen in front of her tower. And like I said, horrible wave state. Here she does a trade on us, I counter trade on her, but I actually, I equalize the health a bit in the trade, but I feel like it would have been better not to follow up trade there, because, or to counter trade on her there, because the E shoved the wave, which is going to make the freeze stay on her side, like, which is how helps her maintain the freeze more, right? Because she shoved the wave when she damaged me, but then I shoved it back, so then the wave just maintains the freeze. So I'm feeling a little bit squishy. I don't want to get one-shot by Riven. I'm sub 1000 health, so I'm really worried about getting one-shot by Riven. So I just go down here to get some honey fruit. Now, because I left lane, Riven is worried that I'm gonna gank her Malzahar, I suppose. So she immediately shoves the wave, which is really fine. Like, that's amazing, right? Super great. Now the wave is on our side of the lane. Now, usually I jump on her here with my E and Q onto her and then just really start basically doing all in on her. Or go for an extended trade. But I don't know where Udyr is. Udyr's made it very clear that I'm not allowed to play the game this game, right? So I gotta respect him. Now, they're contesting the Herald here. Here I ward to see if they exit the jungle. I'm down here to help my Kayn out. Malzahar is respawning, so we do have mid prio, so we should be able to get this Herald. I go over here, I try to get an engage on them, but no, they back off. I clear the pink so that they don't have vision of the Herald. Udyr walks in though, manages to steal the Herald, but we do manage to get the Riven. So we lose Herald, but we do get 2 kills. So you know what? It's not the best, but it could be worse. And yeah, if you guys are enjoying the commentary and the gameplay, then remember to like and subscribe. So now we can not freeze the wave here, but now we can set up a slow push and just set up for our Divine Sunderer. Riven has Herald, so if we die, it can get very bad because she just basically takes our whole tower with Herald, right? So we do need to be respectful of that. Here, she misses her W. That means we can really mess her up here. She flashes away. Now, she's actually really low on health. We don't want her to sustain up with the Ravenous Hydra, and we can look for a dive opportunity here. She used her W, so we can just move in and one-shot her. That's the thing. Riven has her W and her E to protect her from dives, right? If she has neither of those abilities, then she's actually pretty easy to dive. However, because she's that low on health, the W is the only real threat. Because her E doesn't really... It's just a shield, and if she's low enough that she can get one shot through her shield, which she was, then, you know, it's not really an issue, right? So we just take our tower, get some nice first blood tower. So Kayn is trying for a play here. I don't actually like this play from Kayn, because we just saw their bot lane mid, right? So, and they're probably rotating over to us. But now the thing is, Kayn can't run away. Udyr is just going to run him down. So I go in here, I kill the Udyr. I focus the Riven, trying to finish her off. I cancel an auto and actually go down without killing the Riven. It was really close. But yeah, because Kayn went for that play, I had 2 options. Either leave Kayn to die, or go in and guarantee a 1-for-2 and try for the 2-for-2. So, and that's what I tried to do, but, you know, unfortunately I couldn't manage it. I couldn't manage to kill the Riven there. So, I get a QSS for the Malzahar, because if I don't get a QSS, then Malzahar is just going to press R on me every time I try to team fight, and then I'm going to get one shot, right? So here, we're fighting for the Herald. I like right there, right? Malzahar ults me, I get to then QSS it, and then we just murder them because they blew all their damage on me, expecting to one-shot me in the Malzahar ult. But when I QSS'd it, they just couldn't, and then they had no damage left from my team, and then we just ran over them. The QSS was so insane in that fight. Name me one item that costs the same amount of gold as QSS that would have been as impactful in that fight. So here I'm messing with Riven. Dragon's spawning, so I want to chunk her out as much as possible for the fight. I can't keep going on her because we saw their team in mid. I'll get, you know, collapsed on if I keep chasing. Now, I really want to run at this Malzahar, right? Because he can't do anything to me. If he ults me, I just QSS. Here I switch to the Udyr though, just to secure the kill there. So it goes down to the Malzahar ult, but now we know Malzahar doesn't have ult, so now we can go super aggro on him. Rakan lands a really nice flash W. Ward hop over, get flash for to land the stun, finish the Riven off. Now, Baron's spawning. So I decide to stay and shove another wave, because if their bot lane wants to stay here and hold the wave, then we can, you know, Baron should be free, right? Because 2 people bot lane. So I ping it aggressively, but my team is, you know, very busy farming that they can't do Baron immediately, which is, you know, not great. So now at this point I don't actually like the call that much, because if their bot lane rotates, it can get really ugly. I'm just hovering here, I'm sitting here, trying to cut off anybody that walks through this entrance, but because I was sitting in that pinked bush, Udyr wasn't expecting me to come out with a stun ready and just, you know, one-shot him and completely deny his steal. His steal attempt. So, shove those top lane in. If they're Ezreal and they're Yuumi want to two-man hold me in the side lane, that's perfectly fine. That gives us a numbers advantage on the rest of the map, right? Unfortunately, my Zaya does go down, and Udyr, I decided to try to run Udyr down here, but, you know, good luck with that, right? Like, running down Udyr, haha. That's a good joke, dude. So, I go back top lane here. I want this wave in when Dragon spawns, right? Dragon spawning very soon. I have TP. I want to leverage my TP advantage because Riven has Ignite. So, I want to split push on the opposite side of the map that the objective is spawning. And I want this wave against the tower so that they feel the pressure that they need to respond immediately. So, I immediately then go down to Dragon. I recall and go down to Dragon. I could just keep pressuring top lane with TP. But I decide to recall and go and buy because I want my Steeraxe in case there's a Dragon fight that happens, right? Because it's such a big power spike. Like, every item you get is such a big power spike. So, Zaya dies to Malzahar flash ult. So now we're fighting a 4v5 here, but I'm actually fine with that because they expended so much to kill the Zaya. I unfortunately get silenced as soon as I jump in, so I don't get my double stun. Take out the Malzahar. We're just running them down, right? Finish off the Udyr. I misclick and launch myself to the side by accident with the blast cone. My bad. But we're looking for the dive here. Ezreal goes down. Finish off the Yuumi. And there we go. Ward hop over, push this wave in so that we can take that low health mid tower. And then run away before Riven comes and finds us. So now we can start working towards our Spear of Shojin. Steeraxe and Q and Silvermere Dawn are really nice items, but they don't have any ability haste on them, and I really want some ability haste, so that's what the Spear of Shojin is for. So I want to split push bot lane now because Baron's up, and I still want to leverage my TP. But you know, macro is great and all, but it doesn't really count for much when your team just kind of murders everybody on the enemy team while you're pushing down the lane, right? So you know what? That's pretty good. And yeah, if you got, yeah. And that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope to see you in the next one.